How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining me. If you were on the same wavelength as I was yesterday, you would have thought that yesterday was Thursday and today actually is not Friday, but it is Thursday, and that's why I'm here, because these broadcasts are on Mondays and Thursdays. Now, I went to bed literally on Tuesday night after hanging out with my pal, Jennifer Pajamas, and I said, oh, I can sleep a little bit later because I get to wake up a little bit later and not meditate before I come and join you on YouTube. And each morning I wake up, and before I put my makeup on, I meditate. And then I come meditate with you on Mondays and Thursdays. But on Tuesday night, I went to bed thinking, oh, I can't sleep a little later. I've got to get up and do the YouTube live broadcast. Set the alarm, got up, went through the whole thing. Did not notice till the end of the broadcast when I set the event again for next week. I always do that on Thursdays. I set the event and I'm like, why is that live event still there? Oh, that's Thursday. That's tomorrow. So I had a little extra thing going on yesterday, which is fine because the people who were on my wavelength were up too and had turned on their YouTube and said, oh, look, it's the wrong day. And then, oh, look, I popped up on their screen. So hi again. I did teach a practice called Sitali breath yesterday. And I'm just going to run through it one more time because it's bloody hot. I'm telling you. And it's hot all over the country. My husband's I'm in New York, and he's on the other side of the Hudson, somewhere in the Midwest. It's not that I don't know where the Midwest is. It's just that he started out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and then I don't know where he goes from there. But he said, oh, no, honey, it's cool here, so it should be getting cool there anytime. I'm like, no, we're in the middle of a heat wave. It's going to be hotter tomorrow, which is today, Thursday, which is when I do my YouTube broadcast in the middle of the week. Stay in their brain. So Sitali is a way to cool down yourself mentally, and I think a little bit physically as well. From a biologist's perspective, when you use we cool through evaporative cooling. We sweat, and there's moisture on the skin, and then that air interacting helps you to feel this cool sensation. Whether you know it or not, it's actually keeping you cool. There's a lot of other things that work with that, but that's one of the things that sweat does. So it's air moving across moisture. So when we do Sitali breath, we draw air across our tongue, which is hopefully moist. And I have a friend who hates that word. Sorry. And then you press your cooled tongue on the roof of your mouth, and that bone that's at the roof of your mouth is one of the thinnest bones of your skull, which encases your brain, which is really hot. I think something like 20 to 30% of our energy is used by the functions of the brain. So it gets pretty hot, and it's also the head is where we release most of our heat. When they decide to put on a hat to keep you warm, it's because your heat's coming out through here. So don't wear a hat inside in the summer. Not a good idea. Anyway, you put the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and I think, it's my theory, hasn't been proven, that cool space and that thin bone, it just kind of transfers a little bit up and gives you a little cooling down. So it must work because I do it. No, that's not the only reason, but it's been in practice for thousands of years. The way it works is, the way you do it, the way you practice it is to curl your tongue or flatten your tongue. Genetically, you can only do one. You can't do the curling tongue, or you can do the curling tongue. So don't feel like you're inadequate if you can't do it. The curled tongue looks like this. Don't try to talk like that. Or you flatten your tongue like this, and you place the tip of your tongue, you flatten it out, and you place it right between your teeth. I can move closer to the camera, but it's a little scary, I think. So it's right there, and you flatten your tongue out like that, and you breathe across your tongue. I can curl my tongue. So I'm going to curl my tongue, show you that variation. Then when I did that, my tongue was, when I breathe out, the exhale, the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. So we're going to do that 3 times just to cool down. If you don't feel like doing that, breathe quietly to yourself, palms facing down on your thighs. And if you want to watch, go ahead. Otherwise, just close your eyes for a minute and breathe fully and deeply. Okay? So sitting up nice and tall, take a deep breath in and out. And then either curl or flatten your tongue with the tip of the tongue at the edge of the teeth. You'll breathe in across the tongue. Exhale, tongue at the roof of the mouth. And you'll do that 2 more times, please. When you finish that 3rd breath, just remain with the tongue resting towards the roof of the mouth. Your lips might feel cool. And now drop your chin towards your chest, open your eyes to see a point on the floor, and then lift your gaze back up. Hi again. So that may or may not have cooled you down. I'm thinking that it will. I use that on the subway platforms here in New York City. It gets pretty hot down there. Almost unbearably. It's like you're walking into an oven. That's another conversation. Ventilation. So we are going to do HumSa again today. And I'd like to just mention of all the meditation practices that we go through twice a week, this is the one that you can always come back to. So if I've prescribed, like I have a couple of mentees that I've said, go back and do this for the next 40 days with X mantra, etc. You would continue with this practice through the rest of your meditation when you're not meditating with me on YouTube. And then the different techniques and so forth that I'll do on Monday and Thursday. You can do those on Monday and Thursday and then go back to the prescribed meditation for your practice, for your personal practice. If you'd like to know more about that, email me, contact me through my website, rebeccasoule.com. Enough of that. All right. So HumSa Kriya works to clear this central channel that we have inside. It's a subtle energy area without getting too esoteric, but basically it's a place that energy can draw in. So we've talked about pratyahara, this redirection of your senses inward. After you redirect those senses inward, prana, energy, follows in as well. And so it can concentrate in this space, Sushumna Nadi. And then we begin to gain access inside, a little deeper, to Brahma Nadi, this cord of intelligence, this thread of intelligence that lies within us, that we were born with. And Al likes to talk about this, and I always have a little smile about it because I started out as in marine biology and then evolutionary biology, studying embryos. And when Al often talks about the primitive streak and the notochord, and that being sort of the first part of that, it sets up your anterior posterior axis, your head to tail axis, and it's this elongation that happens in the embryo. You go from a ball of cells to this little sort of scrunched up thing that turns into 3 layers, and the cells need understanding of which way to go and what to do and how to become what they're supposed to become. And literally this mechanism happens to which there's this line that's drawn through the embryo from head to tail. And from that line, all the information for the body, the presumed body, is received. All the cells receive their information, and then it's like a tidal wave that moves outward. Those cells get their information, they become what they're supposed to do, and so on and so forth. They send the next message, etc. So that line, Al often allocates or equates to this thing that we refer to in yoga, Brahmanadi. So I can tell you more about that if you'd like. Send me an email. But it's really cool because we're drawing the energy in, we're redirecting our senses, and then inside of that space where we're concentrating prana is this core, this line of intelligence. So this kriya, I liken to sort of lighting that up and reestablishing your connection to where you came from, where your universal strength, power, and intelligence. Okay? It's also, I love it because it's quite simple. There's not a lot. It's not very complicated, and there's something for everyone in it. You can see, you can hear, you can imagine to taste, but it's all right there inside of you. So we're going to get started right away. We're going to start with Pajamas. We're going to place one hand under each armpit, like so. And there's a gentle pressure of the palms from both the arms laying on the hand and a little squeezing towards the rib cage and the thumb at the pectoral muscle. And I love this technique because it's simply a practice of breathing. So let your arms be heavy, let your seat be nice and tall, and if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Relax your tongue, your lips, your jaw. And if you're smiling, that's okay too, because smile actually is relaxing. That's a hint of things to come. So now you're simply breathing. And you may start to notice that one or the other of your nostrils is more dominant, more open. And what this practice does is begin to create a balance from left to right in your nostrils. It also helps you to bring your awareness inside. To redirect senses of touch, taste, sound, sight. Everything starts to redirect inwards. Smell, hearing, the last things to go. So now, you need to take a peek, but if you can, keep your eyes closed and switch the cross of your forearm so that the other forearm is on top. You may notice that your face is more relaxed. And the balance is starting to come between the breath and nostrils with regards to how the breath and the air is moving into them. Start to move to a place less directed outwards. You'll slowly, with the eyes closed, release your hands down to your thighs or your knees. The palms can be turned down if you're feeling a little fidgety, or you can turn the palms up and join the thumb and index fingers. And resting the backs of your hands on your thighs or knees. So allow yourself to settle in and sense and feel, experience what's going on inside. Your breath is still quite regular, coming in and out. Maybe not quite to the degree of subtlety that happens when you go deeply into your meditation. Just as you breathe in and out, Sense that there's some sort of force or movement up on the inhale and down on the exhale. So rising up and down. Doesn't have to have a location or a place. Just a feeling. So as you breathe in, there's this movement upwards, and as you breathe out, there's this movement down. Now bring your awareness to that point, the pelvic floor between your sit bones, those hard knobby bones that you sit on, that you may or may not feel on your seat or your chair, cushion, floor. That's your base. The next time that you happen to be breathing in, just allow that sensation of upward movement to move from that point all the way up, as far as it will go in your body. Don't worry about where that is. It might be to the navel. It might make it to your heart space, to the center of your chest. It might make it to your throat. It may go all the way up to midbrain already. Wherever that is in your body right now, so when you happen to breathe in, there's that sensation of energy moving upwards from your base, the pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, there's that movement going back down. So when you happen to breathe in, the energy moves up to a point in your body and then back down. Just practice watching that movement, where it's going. There's no goal here. There's no optimal space that it needs to lift up to. The energy has its own universal intelligence that you're tapping into, reconnecting to. And it knows where you need it. Now we're going to add a sound to ourselves. You have to say this out loud to yourself. While that energy is moving up, the sound is hum. While that sensation of energy moves down, sa. Hum, the energy moves up. Sa, it draws back down. You may start to sense or feel that that energy is a line of light. Or light that's illuminating a thread, a cord of energy. You happen to breathe in, trace or feel, sense that movement upwards, hum, and down, sa. Let the space between your teeth just relax. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw. Feel that movement up, hum on the inhale, and back down, sa on the exhale. Hum, sa. You may have also noticed that your breath has grown more quiet, more subtle. It's almost as if it's just happening at the sinuses. But still, beyond the breath, there's that movement of energy up, hum, then back down, sa. To the space. At that point, you're reconnecting from your base all the way up to the point behind midbrain, behind the forehead at midbrain. Just between the two lobes of your brain, in the middle there. You feel a steadiness in your energy at your core, and almost this drawing in towards that point behind the middle of your forehead. All of the attention and awareness moves to that point. You have no desire to move from that point, no need to communicate it. There's no time. You're just in this space of stillness. You'll be here for another 2 to 3 minutes. If you become uncomfortable in any way, just move the body around slightly so that you can adjust. And then do a couple of the HumSa Kriya. Notice you'll go right back into that space. Speaking of evaporative cooling, if you'd like to moisten your thumb, and place it just at the center of your forehead, and then let your hand rest back down. That point, with its moisture, that evaporative cooling, will focus your attention there. I'm going to be quiet now. At this point, if you'd like to continue to sit for another few moments, feel free to do so. Otherwise, take a deep breath in. Rub your thumbs across the tips of your fingers. Bring your palms together. Feel that heat between your palms. Let that heat, your palms, move over your eyes, and that heat pour into your brain, healing. Draw your hands down your face, around your jawline. Massage the back of your neck. Bring your hands one over the other in front of your heart and feel that warmth, that sensation, love maybe for no reason. Right hand into a fist, just below the navel, left hand to envelop it. And keep your spine long, hinge forward, press back gently with that fist. Open your eyes as you're hinged forward and focus on a point. And then slowly come back up. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will see you on Monday at 6:30 a.m. Namaste.